Hi, welcome to this new tutorial. We will be making some cushions. We will start by making a basic shape, then a simulation with the cloth. We will go through some of the settings to understand how you can get different results. We will also be making the seams. We will be making this kind of cushion and also this one. We also have one with like a button in the middle, and how we can use the simulation also to place them one on top of the other like this. So let's get started. We will create the basic shape that will become our first cushion. I will explain why, but I will start with a plane instead of a cube, because that way we will have the UV already as we want. Cubes have this unwrap by default. If we use a plane to start, we already have the UV unwrapping done. I will show you two ways to do this shape. The first one is easier and faster, but you will have to adjust the UV at the end. And the second one has a few more steps, but you will be having the UVs already as you want to add the texture to your cushion. Okay, so edit mode, we go to edge, subdivide, we will change this to 20, then still in edit mode, with all selected, we will extrude. Be careful, because if you extrude down, you will be having your normals inverted. You can check that in the overlays, face orientation. I have it on my mouse on a shortcut, and also the wire. That's handy for me. So in this case, extrude up, and you won't have this problem. To about there. Then you Control R to add a loop here. And then you can, instead of scaling, just scaling that deforms a bit the mesh, we will Alt S to scale along normals. Just a bit there. And that will be our base mesh to start the simulation. Okay, so to avoid having to mess with the UVs, this is the other way we can use. We will subdivide here. This is the same as the other way. This takes a few more steps, but it will be, the UVs will be completely fine when you finish the cushion. Then we Shift D, we duplicate this instead. We lock it on Z-axis, and we move it just about there. Then we will go to top view, go to wireframe, select the borders, scale on C, and place it as close as you can. There. Then we will use M to merge by distance, and we will increase this number with Shift slowly until it it collapses all these two borders. There. Don't go further and start destroying the mesh. Just enough to join them there. Okay, step 1, that's done. And now we will remember to be in the vertex select option there. Select this one, and this one, and press J. Repeat on each corner. And now change to edge select mode. Select these two and these two. Press delete. And dissolve edge. Repeat on each corner. In this case, you can see that, remember you can do it here. We have the bottom part that has the normals inverted. So what we do is we go to edit mode. We press A to select everything and replace. I will show you with the colors. You press Shift N and that will recalculate the normals. And your simulations will behave correctly, shades and everything. So remember to do that. Since we used the plane, the same shape, the UVs are exactly as they should. So you save a lot of time with that. Since I want to show you different results, I will duplicate this shape 2 times. And we will add a plane to act as floor. Apply the scale. Go to the Physics tab. Add a cloth simulation. In the plane, add a collision. And the first thing we have to do is to add pressure. We will start with 2.5. I already did some testing, of course. And we will put them a bit above the floor. Now we can use the spacebar to activate the simulation. And this is our first result. It's already a good result. You can add a subdivision here, maybe 2 steps, and shade smooth, and you have a basic shape. But we are going to go for a bit more detail in the wrinkles here. So what we are going to do is to add a subdivision modifier with 1 step on both. And we will move this above the cloth. So the cloth has more detail to work with. If you put it below the cloth, the cloth will work with the original geometry and then apply the subdivision. So the order is important. Now that we have more geometry here, you can see we will try the same simulation, and you will see that it's like it's heavier now. So more geometry. Now we have 2 ways to work with this. You can either lower the vertex mass here to say half, maybe 0.15. and you have that result. Or you can also leave it as it was, 0.3, and increase the pressure to about 8 maybe. And there you have this result. So that's up to you. There's also, you can, for example, the resist bending, or you can play a bit with these values. You will get different results, but I think this looks quite fine. Now, for example, we can select this, and last this one. Control L to make links. This will copy whatever we choose here to the two other objects. So in this case, I will copy the modifiers. Since we are not in the 0 frame, we get these weird results. But if we go to 0 and shade smooth, now we get this. Once we find the shape we want, or at least any moment of the simulation that we liked, we can go to the cache options. We select, I don't want to simulate 250 frames. 41 is enough for me in this case. So we change that and we bake. So now this is baked. It no longer depends on the simulation. So we can find the moment we like the most. In my case, that's what I want. Go to the modifiers. We will apply this and the cloth, and we will add another subdivision with maybe 1 or 2 steps. Now we will take care of the seams, or seam, I'm not sure. Go to edit mode, and with the middle loop selected, if you don't have it selected, you can Alt and left click on one of the edges here, and it will select the entire loop. Then we will Control B, and you can move with Shift. You will always get smaller increments on anything you are doing. So instead of moving like this with Shift, it will be easier to control. So we will go for something like this, and with the mouse wheel you can increase. We want one in the middle, one loop in the middle. So then left click to apply this. We select again the one in the middle, and we will I will do something because our origin point is not in the middle at this point because of the simulation. So I will exit edit mode, right click, set origin to geometry, and now we are ready to continue. Then we Alt S and we scale it just a bit, and then we Control B again, and with Shift we make a little bevel there. So now we have this shape. If you find this is too much, you can always scale it a bit out, or that's up to you. And now we will again, also with Control and the mouse wheel button pressed, you can pan like this. Then we will select again the middle loop, Shift D to duplicate, and P to separate, selection. Then we can exit edit mode, and we have a new plane here, plane 4. If you grab it, you will see that it's the one we just created. For this object, we will go to convert to curves. And now you can, depending on the cushion you want, I checked a bit of different models and stuff. And ones have like a round thing all around them. You can go to geometry. We leave this at round, and with shift again, click and increase just a bit, like this maybe. Then you can scale this object so it's not like inside the other one. Maybe like that. And shade smooth. And then we have our first cushion. We can also make like the seams. If we, instead of doing this, I will leave this at 0. I will move the cursor to this object, to select it. No, to this object, but they have the same origin point, so it's the same. And then we will create another object. In this case, we will make a cylinder, change this to just 6 sides maybe. I will use the slash bar on the numpad to go to local view. Then we will scale this a lot. It doesn't matter too much the size at this point because we will be able to adjust later. Then we will Control R, Control B, this time just like this. With the mouse wheel you can remove the one we added. Maybe like that. Select the top part, M to merge at center. Same on the bottom, merge at center. We can select these two, scale C a bit, and grab on C, just like that. This is like one, I'm not sure how those are called, but on the seam, one of the things. Then shade smooth. This will be super tiny, so it doesn't matter. I won't use a subdivision here or anything crazy, but you can do as you want. Okay, so slash bar to exit that. We have to scale this a lot. Control A, apply scale. We can still adjust later. Then we will use, let's rename this to, I don't know, seam. And select the cylinder again. We will add an array modifier. In this case, since it's facing the Z-axis, I will use Z-axis. This will be the separation between them. I think it looks a bit too fat still. Scale, Shift C, and apply scale. And then we will Instead of fixed counts, we will use fit curve. That way we'll generate as many as we need to fit the curve. And here we will select sim. Now we have the correct array. We will add a curve modifier, and we will select the same axis as we did with the array, and select the curve, and that's it. We have our sim there. You can always adjust the size of this, just scale it and apply the scale. I wanted to show the other one that has like a button in the middle. We can go to 0 here. Those are not baked. So first we will apply this subdivision. We will take the vertex on the middle, and we will go to create a new vertex group, but we won't assign it with 100%, but because we will pin this in the simulation, and if we use 100%, it won't move at all, and we want some movement. So we will probably try something like, I don't know, we will start with 0.8. And don't forget to assign. You can always deselect and click here to select this group, and you will, that way you can check that this is assigned. Now we exit edit mode, we go to the physics tab, and we go to shape. Here's the pin group. We can use this. And let's try this one. Maybe a little more. Okay, let's increase to 0.95 maybe. Try that again. And we get that result. Then you can bake this simulation also. We will do it 34. I'm liking that shape now. Now we apply the simulation and the subdivision. And now you can create like a button there. And I wanted to show you also how you can like place another one on top of this one, for example, with a simulation too. So you grab this, try not to make it too high because it will bounce. Okay, maybe there. We need to interact with this object, so we will add a collision here. That will already start affecting this object. But it will slide away, as you can see. So what we can do is to take this object here and change, not on the particles here, options. We don't want that. We will use the soft body and cloth parameters here, and we will take the friction and max it here, so it will just don't move when it touches the floor. It will be like sticked there. Okay. So we have a few things to change here. So this doesn't collapse like this. First, we will enable self-collisions here. So the object doesn't intersect itself. Let's see how it goes with that. We will still need to change some things. We can also make it more resistant to bending. There's a lot of combinations that can help, but I think so let's try with 0.2 here instead of 0.3. And I like how that looks. So then you can at frame 54, we can go to the baking properties, 54, bake. Okay, so Blender crashed. I didn't have my file saved, so I recreated a bit what we were doing. And I baked this one. And now we apply the cloth and the not this subdivision. And here we will do the same. Select this, set origin to geometry. Then with this selected, Control B, one in the middle, select this, Alt S, and Control B again. In this case, I will do the seams, but I will forward this because we already done it. Okay, so now we have one with seams and one with the other thing there. Now let's take care of the textures. I downloaded mine from Texture Haven. The link will be on the description. So select one of the cushions and go to shading. New material. You can go to preferences, add-ons, search for Node Wrangler and enable it. That will make things a lot easier. Then you can select the principal BSDF, Control Shift T, and go to the folder where you have the textures. In this case, we pick this, and choose one of the colors. I will use, in this case, the green maybe. And it will make all the connections by itself. Here you can see the difference between the one we did with a bit more work, but it's already, the UVs are already fine. And the one has stretching, so you have to adjust the UVs. I'll quickly fix my UVs here. For this part, I will use just a color. We are not going to spend too much time with that. We can download something for the floor. Same thing, new material. I downloaded this one. We don't need this one. Let's scale it right. And we can scale our UV too. Then we can go to the render properties, ambient occlusion, We can change this to activate this to soften a bit the shadows there. We can increase this. We can select the view that we like. Control Alt and 0 on the numpad to bring the camera to that view. We can open the panel here with N, view, camera to view, and adjust a bit. I will add an area lamp. Change the power to maybe 1000. Then we can divide this so we can see the render view here and manipulate the lights on the other one. We can shift duplicate. We will use this as a fill lamp. This will be a lot less powerful. Maybe and another one. We can also add a bit of depth of field. We can use an empty to set the focus point. So I will probably put it around there. Shift A, empty. And I will name this focus. Then I will go to my camera, depth of field. The lower this number is, the more the strength of the effect. Around 1 maybe we will try. And select this focus here. And let's try that. Okay, so this is my result. I hope you have liked this tutorial, and remember that if you join my Patreon, you have a lot of rewards every month, and you will be helping this channel to keep going. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.